We will now start the regular press conference by Foreign Minister Kamikawa. Minister, the floor is yours. I'd like to address 2 points. First, yesterday, Governor Tamaki of Okinawa Prefecture came to me with a protest regarding the recent incident. And he asked that there be thorough communication to the prefecture about incidents and accidents involving U.S. soldiers, formulation of measures to prevent reoccurrence, have the U.S. side enforce discipline in a better way, and also convening CWT cooperative working group to prevent incidents and accidents by U.S. soldiers and civilian components. And an important base for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the local government is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Okinawa Liaison Office. And with regard to enhanced collaboration, we had a request as well. And it was with renewed awareness that I recognized the importance of cooperation and collaboration with Okinawa Prefecture. I believe that this incident is extremely regrettable. And when I think about the victims, my heart, I am deeply pained. As a foreign minister, I'm involved in WPS, Women, Peace and Security, and I'm promoting this. And the ideals and concept includes protection of human rights and dignity of women. This is the central challenge, and the prevention of sexual violence under disasters and disputes, and preventing sexual violence by military personnel, prevention of crimes, eradication, and pursuit of assailants' responsibilities and punishment is what we emphasize. So based on these ideals, we have been promoting approaches, and the occurrence of this incident is such that I feel this cannot be tolerated on the part of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We will be working on the United States side regarding specific measures, and also ask them to be thorough about preventing incidents and accidents. At the same time, with regard to the request received from Governor Tamaki, I'd like to examine what measures, what response we can take. And it is the local government that are facing with the anxiety of the residents and having to deal with the crime countermeasures. So from such a standpoint, I'm thinking whether we can be more creative and make improvements with regard to the way information is shared. With regard to serious incidents and information sharing with local governments in the future, Okinawa has a lot of U.S. military facilities and zones in Japan. So bearing in mind their concerns and anxiety, and also taking into consideration the privacy of the victim and impact on investigation on the part of MOFA, we are properly studying with the relevant ministries. We want to announce something soon, so we are accelerating coordination. And earlier, I had consulted with the Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi. And on the part of MOFA, from the standpoint of WPS, how we can strengthen measures to prevent sexual violence and crime is something that we'd like to study. Incidents and accidents by U.S. soldiers cause great consternation and concern and anxiety to the locals. It is something that should not happen. And on the part of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we'd like to properly address this issue.
Next, my second point. Today, I had a meeting with His Excellency Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber, Minister of Industry and Advanced Technology and Special Envoy to Japan of the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Jaber, Minister Jaber, was the very first minister that I welcomed in Tokyo after I assumed the post of Foreign Minister in September last year. The UAE is a country that is playing an important role for the peace and stability of the Middle East region, and the cooperative relations with the UAE is extending far beyond the conventional energy area and is now encompassing a wide range of areas including decarbonization, advanced technology, education, culture, tourism, space, and defense. Japan attaches an extreme importance to the relations with the UAE, which is a strategic partner for Japan. At today's meeting with Minister Jaber, I have confirmed to further strengthen cooperative relations in a wide range of areas under CSPI, or Comprehensive and Strategic partnership initiative. Also, with Minister Jabel, at an appropriate timing of this year, I concurred to hold the second ministerial meeting of CSPI, and I had an extremely productive exchange of views in regards to the cooperation to stabilize international crude market, as well as how to strengthen bilateral economic relations. Based upon the meeting this time around, I'd like to further strengthen comprehensive and strategic partnership with the UAE. Thank you.
Questions, please. Please raise your hand, and when called upon, please proceed to the nearest microphone. State your name and company name before you ask your question. Kyodo News, please. Nishiyama, Kyodo News. Tomorrow, you'll be visiting Cambodia and the Philippines. Could you state us your resolve for this visit? From the 5th of July to the 9th, for the first time after becoming Minister of Foreign Affairs, I will be visiting Cambodia and the Philippines. The visit this time is such that as a true friend between two countries, we want to deepen a relationship of trust. We want to push forward the specific cooperation, and I'd like to make this an opportunity to confirm this. In Cambodia, I want to strengthen relationship with the Hun Manet administration, and bearing in mind the long cooperation and the present status of development of Cambodia, we'd like to launch a new approach related to bilateral cooperation. And based on the long cooperation we've had in relation to mine countermeasures with the country on the occasion of this visit to Cambodia, we'd like to indicate a direction with regard to future mine countermeasures. In the Philippines, we will have 2+2 of foreign ministers and defense ministers, and we want to confirm further strengthening of security and defense cooperation, and through Japan-Philippine foreign ministers meeting on a broad range, on a broad front, we want to strengthen bilateral relations. Next question, please.
Kamimura-san of Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper, please. Kamimura of Yomiuri Shimbun newspaper, thank you very much. Because of the incident caused by the U.S. military personnel, as you stated at the outset in regards to the information sharing between Japan and the U.S., there is a reporting procedure or notification procedure, but this case is such that the U.S. Japanese investigative authorities had recognized the case already. So in regards to the conveying of the information, this is an issue related to the investigative authorities. So what is the view of MOFA in regards to this case? At the same time, going forward, even if investigative authorities don't make an announcement, will MOFA make a unique judgment and inform local municipalities and so forth? Is that at all possible? What are the investigative authorities in regards to the external public communication about cases based upon the spirits of the Code of Criminal Procedure Act? They have been exercising a judgment on a case-by-case basis while considering the necessity to serve public interest, dignity of relevant parties, as well as impact on privacy and impact on current and future investigations, as well as impact on trials and scope and degree, and they make a careful judgment consistently. For this case, while considering the significance of the crime at the timing of recognition, since this case hadn't been made public, and since this is sexual assault, so by making this information public, the dignity and privacy of the victim could be affected to a great deal. So, in view of that point, a judgment was made on the part of the investigative authorities. MOFA has also taken into account the judgments made by the investigative authorities and has been making responses. In regards to future cases, MOFA would like to consider the judgment made by the investigative authorities and make responses.
Next question, please. Asahi Shimbun, Matsuyama-san, please. Matsuyama, Asahi Shimbun. Also, on the U.S. soldier incident, I'd like to ask about the way information sharing ought to be. Initially, you mentioned that you want to study how information is shared with the relevant ministries. And you said that you wanted to do this very quickly. By which target date do you intend to do this, if you have a target date and prospects? And what is the direction going forward with regard to how improvements will be made? With regard to future serious incidents and the way we share information with the local government, U.S. facilities and zones are largely located in Okinawa. So bearing in mind the anxiety and concerns that they have, also taking into considering the privacy of the victim and also impact on the investigation, we are together with the relevant ministers properly examining the issue so that we can announce soon we're expediting coordination. And I consulted with the Chief Cabinet Secretary Hayashi earlier. And with regard to the actual substance and the timing, at the present point in time, I would like to refrain from making any prejudgments. But soon, so that the government can announce, we are expediting coordination. Next question, please.
NHK, Igarashi-san, please. Igarashi of NHK. I have a follow-up question about this case caused by a U.S. military personnel. Governor Tamaki made a request to you yesterday, and during the on-the-move interview, he revealed that he had made a request to resume a CWT working team meeting to discuss preventive measures of incidents and accidents caused by U.S. service members. You made a comment about this during the opening remarks. What sort of responses will be made by MOFA going forward? Well, thank you. Yesterday, when I had a meeting with Governor Tamaki of Okinawa Prefecture yesterday, in my exchange with him, as you rightly pointed out, he made a request to resume a cooperative working team to prevent incidents and accidents by U.S. military personnel as well as base workers. MOFA will urge the U.S. side, including specific measures to thoroughly prevent incidents and accidents, and including the holding of CWT. We will make considerations about responses in regards to the request made by Okinawa Prefecture.
Kyodo News, please, Nishiyama. I'd like to once again ask about the Okinawa incident. Initially, you, as you pointed out, measures to prevent recurrence on the U.S. side. This is not visible to us. Do you have any information with regard to what the U.S. is doing with regard to measures to prevent recurrence? With regard to this incident, the United States has very deep concerns, and that this is causing a lot of concern is something that they feel is regrettable. And the local authorities' investigation and hearings, they said that they would give full cooperation. They stated so. That is my understanding. With regard to the details, I'd like to refrain from disclosing this on the part of Ministry of Foreign Affairs to the United States. Based on WPS perspectives, sufficient measures is what we're calling for, and we're asking for them to be thorough in preventing recurrence of incidents and accidents. And in addition to this, with regard to requests by Governor Tamaki, what we can do is something that we'd like to examine going forward. Last question.
GJ Press, Murakami-san, please. Murakami of GJ Press. On a different topic, in regards to a former Eugenics Act and a Supreme Court ruling, well, yesterday the Supreme Court issued a ruling that former Eugenics Act was unconstitutional, allowing for forced sterilization because of disabilities and so on, and ordered the government to make a compensation. There has been recommendations issued by Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities of the UN and so on in regards to the compensation. What's your reaction about this ruling? Well, in the concluding observations by the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities of the UN in regards to the review of government First, the government report which took place in August 2022 includes views and recommendations in regards to eugenics law. As for the ruling by the Supreme Court yesterday, I am aware that Prime Minister Kishida has stated that while scrutinizing the contents of the ruling in consultation with the Diet, he has instructed Minister Kato and Minister Koizumi to reach a conclusion as soon as possible in regards to the format of a new compensation. In any case, concluding observations are not legally binding, but I understand that these are recommendations and so forth are thoroughly considered and examined by relevant ministries and agencies. Thank you very much. That's all for today's press conference.